Alright, hey YouTube, here we go again with another Wyman video. Hey, wait a second. Oh crap, somebody stole all my trucks. Oh wait, there they are. And cue the intro. Yeah, shit, I don't have an intro either. So tonight what we got here is we got all the trucks down here on the bench. The little trail honcho, as you know, we've been working on making some parts and stuff for it. We got parts up on Shapeways. Let me see if I can't get this stupid camera to come loose from my holder here. All right. So yeah, we got some parts up on Shapeways for this guy. Working on a front bumper for it to get rid of the big bulbous goofy looking front bumper. And we got the sliders up on Shapeways and the TWSD rear body mount. And those are up on Shapeways as well. So if you want one of those, go get it. It's on Shapeways. I don't want to ship it to you. Sorry. I'm going to give you guys a little background tonight. A lot of you guys might know Team Wyman. Probably you don't. But Team Wyman is old school RC. Okay. Group of guys. Started out my cousin, myself, my brother, and then we added some Team Wyman members. The Glidden brothers, Mike Glidden and Nick Glidden, and they became Team Wyman. We're old school RC guys. MSD Nationals 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. We were there. You know, if you were there, you saw these two trucks sitting right here on the bench. So yeah, I'm old school. This truck here is an original SEX 10. Okay, we're talking the first kit, that was available in my area. Okay, the very first one. I got it. I was working at a hobby shop at the time, and I ordered it in. I pre-ordered it a couple of months in advance. I had already had an AX10 and had already done a bunch of mods to it. So, like, I was like the first guy in my area to have an SCX10, and this is it right here. The body on this truck. Okay, that's that body right there is not a high lift Hilux. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The cab is a high lift Hilux. I have replaced the cab since I originally built this truck. The box that's bobbed, that is an original Mountaineer box. That was pre high lift Hilux. Picked it up off the flea bays, and yeah, I mean, this truck has an original Mountaineer Hilux interior. The window, this Lexan window in this truck is a repop that a few guys, I think out of Oregon, were making these way back when. And I mean, that's where this window comes from. It's a Lexan window kit that I scavenged from somebody at a comp. They showed up with them, and I grabbed it. Had to have it. Interior, you know, all that. The grill in this truck is an original Mountaineer grill. It's not a high lift Hilux. It's an original Mountaineer grill. The tube work is, that's old school. That's brake line brazed. There's a lot of stuff in this truck still that is, I mean, that's a Novak goat, guys. That's the first brushless crawler system. I haven't seen anything from Novak in years. So, but it's a great system. It worked awesome. Super smooth. It's like one of the first censored crawler brushless systems you could get. You know, and that was like big time technology at the time. The winch out on the front of this thing that's a 3 Racing Winch. That's one of the original 3 Racing Winches too. I bought like 3 of those when they first came out, and of course, you know, the first thing you do is you pull them out, you unwind them, and you take the crap that came off of them and you just toss it in the garbage, and you go down and you get yourself some Power Pro spider wire replica stuff down at Walmart that's like, you know, 85-pound test, or I guess this one's 65-pound test. But yeah, and you wind 16 feet of that shit into it, and there you go. You know, you got yourself a winch. But I mean, and this is like kit, you know. So, and I'm even more old school than that, you know. My cousin Craig, he did a ton of the TLT builds, ton of the TLT axle builds, and I never got big into the TLTs. I did a Wheelie King, I did a couple of TLTs, but nothing too much. I mean, I've got a TLT up there, and I've still got everything in the box minus the axles. But for the most part, I liked the axial stuff. I really liked it. So that's what I stuck with. Than that. So this was pretty much my first Scalar. This Scalar, this was number 2. Sorry, don't have number 1 anymore. Sold it. My number 1 was a Wheelie King, and but this was the first one, the first axial Scalar, and this was my AX10, my original AX10, and again, pre-ordered the AX10 way in advance. I think I pre-ordered that thing like almost 6 months out. As soon as I saw it in RC Car Driver magazine, I ordered one up, and I was the first one in the hobby shop to have it, and I threw that thing together and drove it twice stock form, and then tore it all apart and did it old school, man. This is how we built Scalars back in the day. You know, some plate aluminum. You go get yourself a piece of plate aluminum down at the Home Depot, and you know, you throw it on the old bandsaw, draw something up on the side of it with a Sharpie, and bolt a couple of pieces together so you can cut both sides exactly the same, and you just throw it on the old bandsaw and you start cutting. And you know, this thing's, it's pretty haggard. It's seen some crap over the years, but you know, she still goes. This thing, it still runs. It still runs with the Novak Rooster crawler, and yeah, it still works. And this is a good working truck. It's got a RC 3-wheel drive. But yeah, I mean, this is how we built them back in the olden days, guys. You know, before kits and stuff for building Scalars. You know, you get yourself an old cutting board from wherever you can scavenge it for cheap, and you find somebody that's got a little milling machine. Thanks, Brandon, for that. And you mill it out, and you try to get your center of gravity as low as you can in the truck, and you throw some, just for giggles, you throw some bent lower links on there to get a little more ground clearance, and that's how you did it. And you go to the Value Village and you pick yourself up a little body, and or the Radio Shack, and when the JKs come out, man, the JK bodies, man, from New Bright. It was like nutso. You go to the Radio Shack and buy a bunch of them, and a little further along, and you start doing a little more tube work, and you start doing a little more scale stuff, and you start getting a little bit crazy because you go to the comps and people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and it starts getting insane, you know. So you come up with new ideas and you innovate, and that's magnet. Get down with the styrene. Chop a hole in the hood for battery placement so that you don't have body clips holding your body on anymore. You know, you start getting creative. And you start coming up with new ways of doing things, and you throw low-C worm drive axles in something, and you go, man, what can I do I need more ground clearance, I need more of this, I need, you know, and you get tons of ground clearance out of the thing, and you're trying to keep your CGs low, but you're putting a big heavy plastic body with full interior and stuff on it, and man, and then you start doing. I had done something with this truck with the worm drive axles that, and a lot of people just kind of freaked out about it. Well, with the worm drive axles, the gear reduction is in such a way that you don't need much gear reduction. So a couple of 55 turn motors and a couple of these airplane gear reductions straight driven to the axles, the worm drive axles, and you got yourself basically an MOA without the motors on the axles. Kind of caused a stink, and I ended up having to rebuild this whole truck, my whole idea off of this truck. I had to rethink it, and I ended up having to throw a different transmission in it, go Nightcrawler, and it just, yeah, they kind of killed me on that one. And this truck with this setup was unstoppable. Just a little bit of overdrive to the front axle. When it was under load, the front axle would drive more than the rear axle, and it would pull you up stuff that a scale truck just shouldn't climb. And you know, I was well within the rules at the time, but you know, they changed up the rules on me, and so we got right down to probably 3 months before MSD that year, and I had to rip all of that out of my truck and go back and rethink it and figure out what transmission I was going to run in it with worm drive axles, and figure out how to make it work. And hey, you know, that this truck ended up placing sixth or seventh place in 2-2 that year. So hey, you know, it is what it is. It worked great for what it was. But it would have been cool to have been able to run this and really show some of the guys, you know, what you can do if you think outside the box. But it was not MOA. The only thing in the rule said was no MOA. And I got around that. I was shaft driven, and the motors weren't on the axles. And yeah. So that there is why you can't, for a long time, I don't know if it's still this way, but for a long time you couldn't run dual motor setups in scale trucks. This truck is why. So Team Wyman's been around. Like, subscribe, post it on Facebook, share with your friends, keep making cool stuff. Good night, guys.